Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Resident Rule Breakers. I'm Kayla.
And I'm Camille.
Today's podcast is going to be about episode 409 called Doors Opening, Doors Closing, because we didn't get to do it because I was still sick with COVID. Yeah.
Yep.
At the time this episode aired back in middle of April.
Yep.
So we decided, because we've done all the other episodes of season 4, there's no way we can skip this one, especially considering the topics that are covered in this episode.
I remembered watching this why I didn't like this episode because my anger was boiling.
And it made me so mad, but there were other reasons that you can't miss it, but you also get really mad when you watch it.
Written by
Jen Klein and Joshua Troke,
Yep.
and directed by Lee Liu.
Yep.
And she's a really nice lady, by the way. Lee is just really sweet.
Yep. She did the Dollywood episode. The Dollywood episode.
Yes, she did. Yep. She did. First topic, the one that made us both really mad, was the potential adoption that Jake and Gregg originally had. Was from a surrogate, 19-year-old girl named Tina, whose parents are
homophobic
and various other things that also, but they just, the whole thing just really made me so mad. And she's trying to do the best thing she can do for this baby, and also still stay in contact with her parents.
Jake said it best, where the girl asked him, one of them, to step away or whatever, to like hide the fact that they're gay or whatever. So Jake was like, it's already it was difficult, living in the South, to come out as gay. I'm not gonna hide it anymore or whatever. So he grabbed his husband's hand. I was like, oh, that was beautiful.
Yeah, and as someone who's lived in the South their entire life, I live in the deep heart of the Bible Belt. Okay, I grew up in the Southern Baptist Church. I'm not religious anymore, but I did grow up with it, and I have to say that the way I was taught was from my dad and my grandma were way different. I was never taught to be hateful. I was never taught to hate anyone for anything. So I don't know how this aspect of this comes along, but it's not Christian.
No,
it's not Christian in any way.
Twisting the ideals of Christianity. It's like, it is sickening to me. Like, people keep talking about Deuteronomy crap, and I'm sitting there going, okay, do you eat shellfish? Do you eat, what do you work? Mixed fabrics? Like, what? If you're gonna quote Deuteronomy, Jesus, I always thought, like, that, what happened to, like, love thy neighbor? Like, what the? And I'm like, Jesus ate with the prostitutes in this, the sinners. He ate with the gay people. He ate with lepers or whatever. You being homophobic and judging and wishing horrible things on gay people, it's not Christ-like. You know what I mean? You're twisting the words of the Bible to fit your hateful narrative. And that's why I tell people, and I got someone bad one time because I said to them, it's like, as a atheist, as someone who stopped believing in Christian beliefs or whatever, I'm sitting there going like, I'm more Christian than you because I accept all people. You're judging everyone.
Well, no, and I can say the same thing. I grew up with Christianity, like, deeply, okay? But I'm an atheist, and I still live my life by the morals of Christianity. Like, my ability to make the right and wrong decisions in my life are based on the morals that my dad taught me from being raised as a Christian.
Yeah. It just boils me because some of these people, this is like a topic that is so prevalent today because, I mean, there are laws that are trying to be made so that gay people are having a hard time to adopt kids. And I'm sitting there going, there are kids that are in foster care system who are like struggling and being abused or whatever. They like having the worst life. You would rather these people want to adopt them, but you want to make it so that those kids would be better off in foster care or whatever than be in a loving home because the loving home has gay parents. What the hell is wrong with people these days? You know what I mean?
Because to be honest, these kids that are in foster care, they would kill just to have one parent.
I posted our like podcast cover last week of Jake, Gregg, and the little girl, Sammie, on the resident Facebook page, the resident IG and Facebook page. And like I got so many comments going, I hated that storyline. No need for it, or like the show is going to hell or whatever. So I'm sitting there going, fuck you. You know what I mean? It's just
I think this storyline brought another level of representation that was absolutely 100% necessary to this show. And it was beautiful, but the fact that Jake and Gregg lost their surrogate and the baby that they were going to get because of her parents being homophobic, that is the saddest and most maddening thing that they could have done. I'm glad that Jake and Gregg got to be able to adopt Sammie.
Yes.
I'm glad they got their somewhat happy ending. I'm hoping that we get to see more of that.
Yes.
But just this whole entire storyline in this episode, I was sick as a dog, and I was still sitting there crying and screaming how mad I was. Yep. It was just, you have no idea.
Yeah. And like, what's so great though is you saw Belle step up and be like, look, why are you like, he was trying to like step up for Jake, right, and stuff like that. So it's nice.
So I applaud the resident for doing the storyline. I applaud them for tackling it head on. I applaud them for doing it.
I hope Jake and Gregg comes back next season.
There are two characters that I definitely want to see, and Sammie.
Yeah, and I mean we've been saying since like the beginning for a while that like LGBTQ representation is very necessary on the show and stuff like that. So it's like, yes, if they're the only gay couple who's going to be on the show for like the foreseeable future, yes, it's definitely necessary that they are to stay. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, and I love how supportive Belle was of Jake. I love how supportive Kit was, and they were like all in, like they brought, they went to dinner before they were trying to do the adoption and everything. And Belle actually did the surgery to help Tina's gallbladder. So, but yeah, the whole storyline just is so sad. You can see how it affected each character, and the acting was just superbly done. The other thing that really frustrated me about this episode was I love Jessica and Irving. Thelmore is like one of my favorite ships of the show, and they're so undervalued.
Yes.
They got married in this episode, and like the show has forgotten it. It's like not there, not even noted in the last episodes. It was like it's afterthought to the writers.
It was like, okay, the writer, they want them to be married, let's give them their marriage and let's never talk about it again. And that's just what it felt like. Mine was a beautiful wedding. They went to the aquarium, it was cute. They had like all the sharks and whatever, so I probably would be creeped out about them.
And if like, yeah, I've been to the Georgia Aquarium, and I've been in that tunnel where they shot that, and it is beautiful. Yes. The Georgia Aquarium is probably one of my favorite places in Atlanta. Yeah. So the fact that they shot there just made me really happy, because once I saw it, I was like, oh, that's a Georgia Aquarium. So, yeah.
Yes.
So, but yeah, I just thought it felt like they wrote it in. They're like, oh, we promised another wedding. Go, we have to do this before we run out of episodes. That's what it felt like.
Exactly. That's exactly what it felt like. I mean, like when we talked to Jessica, she was like so excited about a bridal shower. It would have been nice to have like a full bridal shower with her and Nick. You know what I mean? Or like, she was talking about like going to Vegas with all the girls, which I know wasn't possible because of COVID. But there was excitement in her voice with the whole, and she was like, talking about teal napkins, right? Or something like that.
The what?
Teal napkins. Remember the napkins that Jessica was
Yeah, she wanted the teal napkins. Yeah.
Yeah, and stuff. And,
But no, yeah, Jessica and Irving deserved so much better. Like, I loved it. I thought it was really cute. I just thought Connick gets this huge TV wedding in the premiere, and all the build up to it and everything. Jessica and Irving, they've been there since the beginning, okay? But Jessica and Irving are part of the crew, okay? And they deserved a true wedding with their friends after all they've been. So they deserve to be able to get married, just like Conrad and Nick did.
Yeah, they're integral. They've stayed not just in the pandemic storyline, but like all throughout the seasons. They've always been integral in the show. That's why a lot of the fans were cheering them on. So it's like it's a disappointment when the couple that we want and stuff like that is just not has been given a throwaway wedding and stuff. And then we're still fighting for them to at least get they acting roles or storylines. They deserve it. They've been, like you said, they've been on the show since the okay. But yeah, I think that they deserved a whole lot more than just that small wedding of just the two of them and the judge with in an aquarium.
But yeah, I just, it felt so
rushed.
Throwaway. They were realizing they were writing this season and they were going, oh crap, we promised a second wedding and we need to deliver, and they just squeezed it in, and I feel gypped for Jessica and for Tasso and for the fans. Yep. This is that we're saying this because we love both of you so much and we love your characters. So there's that. Despite how cute it was, it just wasn't enough. Not for me. Devon comes into contact with a woman who is a Indian matchmaker in Atlanta. Yep. And she comes into his ER with Irving, and she broke her arm because she was texting and driving, which, by the way, you don't do. No, I mean, there's so many states that have, I don't know if it's a federal law, but I know in South Carolina, it's illegal to text and drive. In Georgia, I have no clue because it's Georgia. But I have my iPhone set to disable my phone calls while I'm driving. Yep. So I can't unlock it while I'm driving. But I'm just saying, it's not worth your life. So, or a broken arm. Text messages can wait. And Devon pretty much said the same thing in the episode. I think there was their PSA of the episode. But this lady comes in and zones in on Devon, and he's like against it because like he doesn't want to have an arranged marriage like his parents did. And he's seeing Nadine, who's now in arranged marriage. She's had a baby, and a very short amount of time. Yeah.
I remember that whole conversation with most of our fans when they were like, "Is that his baby? That's his baby." I'm sitting there going, "I don't think so." The timing just doesn't add up on that one.
Well, there was a whole conversation with Irving about this whole plausibility of this baby being
Oh my
Devon's.
god, that is too funny.
It's too funny, but Devon's like, I don't need a royal infant, okay? I can't afford what I have.
Oh my god.
But, you know, he's just like, finally, you know, he kind of relents when she said she'll do it one of her matches for free for him or something. Then she calls him uptight. He's like, I'm not uptight. I'm like, yeah, Devon, you are.
Oh my god. My favorite scene is Jessica, like
Jessica comes while Devon's in the room with Myra, and she's like, his type of woman is unavailable emotionally or geographically.
Yes, that is the best scene ever. I was cracking up the whole time, and in Devon's face, and each time she interrupted him, it was just like, I can't believe.
She's like, Irving tells me everything.
It's too funny. It's so hilarious. God, this is why they need more Jessica and Irving. Because seriously, this is about that they bring the best episodes.
Yeah. And of course, if you've seen the episodes following, you know what happened because of this is Devon got matched with Leela.
Yes.
But the fact is, you know our stance on Devon and Leela. We're not for it because Leela is such a strong character on her own, and she's not Devon's equal yet. Yeah. And therefore, that's just our opinion on it. Therefore, I think it's a bad match.
Not just that, but I mean, like, we just lost the mentor-mentee relationship of the show. You know, with AJ and then I'm like, no, we're not ready yet. You know what I mean? We're not ready yet. And that's just that, and also, you know, but no more about Leela before you hook her up with somebody else. I mean, at least with Lena, we had like 3 seasons of getting to know her, getting to know her family, getting to know her background, or whatever, when she officially hooked up with AJ. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We just met Leela, and she's intriguing, and she's smart, and we are curious about her and her storyline, especially, you know, with her learning disabilities and stuff like that. But she's still fresh, and we don't know her well enough to say that we like her with Devon, you know, and stuff. It's like, I don't know. We want to get to know Leela as an individual before she gets lost in the romantic pairing of Devon and Leela. That's all.
Yeah, that's all. Because she's such an amazing character on her own. That's all. We don't want her just to be tied to being a love interest. That's all.
What would their ship name be? Their ship name, Deela?
I think it was Deela. I saw that one.
Love it.
Yeah. I don't know. I saw some stuff on Twitter when I was looking through.
We're probably like part of the minority that doesn't like this couple, because it seems like everybody's like, yeah.
Yeah, we are. I think we are. And it's mainly because she's such an amazing character in her own right. That's all.
Yeah. We need to flesh out Leela before we pair her up, because if we pair her up too soon with somebody, it's gonna be like, who are you? Why are you know?
And of course, this episode has Rose's part of Rose's journey is continuing. Yep. And she has a sickle cell crisis because she's not cured from her sickle cell anemia yet. Yep. And she has her spleen removed. AJ and Mina remove her spleen with minimal blood loss.
Yep.
I love the scene with Conrad and AJ, and Conrad's saying we need to remove her spleen or something, and AJ's like, you want me to do a very bloody surgery without losing blood?
Yep.
Lovely. But, you know, if it's AJ, it's possible. Yes. So. But this is like their last surgery together, or almost one of their last surgeries together. AJ and Mina.
Yeah.
And like the tension in the surgery is just the chemistry of Malcolm Jamal Warner and Shawnette Renee Wilson is going to be missed.
Yep.
And that scene, the surgery scene in particular, just if they can have tension with the masks and the gloves and the goggles, the whole 9 yards, that is phenomenal acting. Yeah. And I know so many people are like, well, bring her back. I'm like, she don't want to be, Shawnette left for a reason. You can't just force an actor to continue on doing a storyline she doesn't want to do anymore. Yep. She wants to have a movie career, and we need to allow her to expand her wings.
Yep.
And be proud of the fact that we got as much of her as we did, because The Resident has now launched her ability to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, you lost your ship, but there's still so much more to this show than that ship.
She wanted to leave. They kept hold her hostage or whatever. It's, like if you're gonna force, because if you're forcing someone to stay somewhere they don't want to stay, that's illegal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think the comments are that of like, you're like, well, bring her back, and I'm like, it don't work that way.
She left, but I'm just glad the comments of AJ and Mina have dwindled down. I haven't seen much traction with that in a while, so thank God.
Yeah, and of course, she does. There's the scenes in this episode where Mina finally says to AJ, I have to go back to Nigeria. My mom needs me, because she's not gonna be able to hold up the amount of surgery she's doing for much longer, and she needs me. And in this episode, at the end of this episode, AJ's like, I'll go with you, but we both know that he doesn't because of his mom. And there were comments that were so selfish, like, well, why didn't he just go with her anyway, even though his mom's sick? I'm like, you are heartless.
Yeah, maybe.
You are heartless.
Yeah.
Okay, I would not abandon my person that adopted me out of foster care, out of love and devotion, to put up with all my crap. No, I'm gonna take care of my family, blood or adopted, or no, family first.
Yep.
In this case, he made the right decision.
Yep. Yeah, but it's still sad.
It is sad because love is a thing you really should hold on to too. But Mina understood the decision. She got it. She's the one that told her to stay.
Yep.
So come on, people.
And also, Malcolm wanted to stay on the show.
Yeah, Malcolm wants to be on the show, and I honestly, with Morris leaving and Shawnette leaving, Malcolm's the only African American actor on the show.
I know.
We need him.
I know, but here's the thing. Yes, he's the only black actor on the show. But they have added on. Let's not forget they've added on other POC, so it's not like, because Jessica is Hispanic, Anusha is Indian as well, so there's still diversity there,
Yes,
and
but
Jake
the African American dynamic on this show has a big fan base, and Malcolm carries it. And just saying,
I just hope that they don't add another black character just because they need a black character. You know what I mean? Because we had a similar conversation with Marquis, where he was like, I was just a token black writer to fill the quota or whatever. So I don't want someone who's gonna.
I don't want them to do the token thing. But I just, AJ is such a beloved character, and Malcolm is so amazing at what he does. I couldn't imagine him leaving.
No, he's not leaving. He loves the show too much.
No, he wouldn't leave.
He said it. He was like,
he does. He loves the show.
He was a fan of the show before he got on the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Sucks.
We kind of mentioned this already, but I have a little note here that says Kit and Belle, aren't they the cutest? And I'm ready for them to get together.
I mean, I've been saying this since for like 2 or 3 seasons right now. Oh,
and we had a comment from the podcast last week when I said something like Kit and Belle are like the new Minotaur, and I didn't mean it like they are the new Minotaur. I never meant it like that. I think people misheard me when I said that. I meant it as in they're the new will they won't they couple of the show. Minotaur was that for so long, and now we're gonna have to be guessing with Kit and Belle. That's what I meant by that. I totally misheard on that topic.
What did they think you said?
I don't know. I thought they were saying they were the new Minotaurs. I'm like, no. But I think Jane and Bruce have wonderful chemistry, and I think that they're just going to play out the will they won't they a lot longer. That's all.
Oh my God, that's too funny.
But yeah. And the other thing I noticed was when Nick got off and went to get Conrad from his office and they were leaving, he was picking out paint colors for the nursery, and the paint colors were like things you could eat, like lavender bisque,
creme brulee or something. I'm seeing that going on. We having dessert.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm hungry.
Yeah. Since when did paint colors turn into things that sound like food?
Oh my God.
I don't remember that.
That's too funny.
But if you see the finale, you can see what they did to the nursery, and it was really cute. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one of the cute conic moments of the episode right there. There wasn't much Conrad and Nick. They were really trying to cover other bases on this episode. Which actually is a good thing because like you get Conrad and Nick all the time. So for them to move it around and go to the other characters is actually a good thing.
I didn't even miss Conrad and Nick on this episode.
Like I love Matt, and he's actually, and I realized this like a long time ago, and we never brought this up, but I wanted to mention that Matt's a producer on the show now. We never brought it up, but I did want to mention it. So that was the thing that they changed for season 4 was that scenario for him. Yep. So I wanted to mention one more thing because it is Memorial Day, which is a holiday we have here in the United States to honor our fallen, the ones that have, got lost in battle. Yeah. So, and that's what this day is for. And
so thank you to all those people and their families.
Yep.
Also, this is our last of AAPI month. I posted a video on our Facebook group about several Asian American actors talking about the Asian hate crimes, which included, Conrad Nakamura. And I was, remember, you're probably getting this, but I remember a couple of months ago when, they had that whole public service announcement, and I said on there that it would have been better used if they had Conrad do it, not Manish, because Manish is from South Asia. The victims and everybody else are like Southeast Asians, different region or whatever. And I got attacked for it. I was watching that video where it had mostly Vietnamese, Filipinos, Korean people. The actors were looking like the actual victims who were attacked. Whatever. So I was like, see what I mean? It's more powerful when it's from people who actually look like the victims of the hate crimes. You know what I mean?
Yes, and I get that. I see that. Yeah, I loved the video. And then there was a Manish post. He posted a thing about diversity and how they how it is how his role in The Resident impacts how he's front and center, and diversity can't be on the outlines of a story. It needs to be in the center of the story. It was basically the quote. It was well said. It's a well done quote, and you can see that in the group, and it's on Manish's Instagram and Facebook page. Manish has his own person on his follow page. He has one.
If you guys are like Hallmark fans, please go and listen to my podcast. It's called Hallmark Heartbeats. This week I will be doing listener's choice again because Hallmark did not release a new movie this week, and the movie that was chosen was Nature of Love. So go listen to it. It's called Hallmark Heartbeats. It's on all platforms. Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, TuneIn, Alexa, YouTube, pretty much everything. So
yeah,
there you go.
And of course, for the Resident Rule Breakers, you can, like with Hallmark Heartbeat, she has a buy me a coffee. Could go to buymeacoffee.com /Mark Heartbeats and support her podcast.
Yes, please, thank you.
With us, we have a Patreon account, and it helps us keep the podcast running with like hosting and equipment and stuff. And it's patreon.com /The Resident Podcast. So you can go there. So, and Camille mentioned like all the platforms we're on and everything, but we're not on like Pandora or anything. It's just Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. That's it. And then we have ways to contact us. So our email, which is theresidentrulebreakers@gmail.com, our Facebook group, which is the Resident Fox Fans, and it's linked to our Facebook page for the podcast called the Resident Rule Breakers Podcast. So you can, but the Resident Fox Fans, you have to join it, and you have to answer all 4 questions, or you will be denied. So there's that. Instagram @The Resident Podcast. Camille has a fan Instagram, which is @The Resident on Fox Fans, and I'm @KB Country 37. And then of course our Twitter account, which is @Resident Podcast. So there's all that. So going forward through the summer hiatus, we're gonna do 2 episodes a month, because it makes it easier on us and on. It's just we don't have a lot of content, so we'll probably go back and talk about season 2. I don't know, but for now, 2 episodes a month. So keep an eye out for that in June. So until next time, I'm Kayla.
And I'm Camille.
Bye, guys.